from the Lake Erie Monsters, Jock Callander joins us, and you should be pretty accustomed to this. I know you do a lot of TV work in Cleveland, former NHLer, and you're a legend in Cleveland, aren't you, from your days with the Lumberjacks?
Well, I played my last 7 years there, and I had quite an extensive minor league career, but my last 7 years I played in Cleveland, and we had some good years there.
What is the excitement level like for the Lake Erie Monsters finally to be affiliated with the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Well, I think it's a great fit, and I think people can go back and forth and see the prospects from Columbus or follow the guys that have got called up to the NHL to see how they're doing, and I think it's a great fit business-wise and for the hockey operations for the proximity of coming down to Cleveland or up to Cleveland to watch the kids, or a guy getting called up, just jump in a car 2 hours. And I know yesterday morning when I came here, it was from our practice rink to here is 2 hours maximum.
Perfect.
So.
How much has that league changed when you look at these young players coming in? It seems like they come in with a handbook of how to act, what to eat, how to train. It's almost like they're robots. I remember when we were in the minor leagues, it was a lot different. But have you noticed that change, and how has that really helped this whole game?
Yeah, the skill level of these kids and their bodies, and like just the size and strength of them when they first come in, they have so much more at their fingertips to develop. Like, I remember when I started playing in the minor, we didn't have a bike in our dressing room.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So these guys, they have strength coaches that help them. They got they got more medical guys. We had one medical guy that did both the equipment and the medical. so they have so much more knowledge, and it's a way younger league. Like you said, we had a mix of young guys and veterans, and now it's a lot younger. It's, I think, a lot faster. The kids are hungry.
You talk about things at your fingertips. Sorry to cut you off, but how about having 4 coaches at a skills camp, really, with skating, stick handling, goaltending? You talk about having those tools. Just think of how much of an advantage these kids have being here today and taking this with them for the rest of the summer.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I love watching this stuff, and it's for kids at home, like they can watch this stuff when they're younger, and just this is what you need. You need to be able to skate to play this game now, with the speed these guys go and the agility, and if you can't skate, you can't play. So the power skating is awesome, and then to do that, add this skill of stick handling and shooting while you're skating at that speed. It's what you have to do if you want to play.
It's impressive, and for me, Bob, and you got young kids. If you got a young kid and you're telling them, hey, this is what you should be doing, to get the stick on the ice, go around the cone, and he's like, Dad, you're crazy. Nobody does that. Well, hey, yeah, they do, and they do it when they're not only 19, 20, they do it when they're 35, 36, 37 if they're still in the league. So it's just a good fundamental that if anyone's watching, it's good to see these guys do that.
Yeah, you have to keep practicing your skills at any level. You can't just, once you get to pro, you just forget your skills.
Now, you guys in Lake Erie were affiliated with the Colorado Avalanche for a long time, and the one thing I do know from my time in the American Hockey League is although you have good players and it would seem like you had a good team, you didn't get into the playoffs as many times as you guys wanted to with that organization. And I'm not trying to knock them whatsoever, but when you come out here and you look at the guys that are on the ice today and yesterday and tomorrow, and the possibility of the talent that you could have as part of the Lake Erie Monsters, is that exciting for you?
Yeah, definitely. They've got a lot of stockpiled talent here for sure. A lot of skilled kids, and we had 8 years with Colorado. I think we made the playoffs the 1 year. Had a couple close calls. The 1 year we went down to the last game. We played Rochester. If we beat them, we're in. If we lose, we're out. You outshoot them 40-19, and you know how the game goes. Sometimes you could outplay a team and lose, but other than that, it was just the 1 year, and the excitement we had in that 1 year of the playoffs was great. So hopefully, going forward with the Blue Jackets, we can make the playoffs and build the excitement that much more.
The Blue Jackets in their tenure have had now 3 minor league affiliates. They started in Syracuse for the first 10-plus years and then went to Springfield, now coming to Cleveland. Syracuse and Springfield are very minor league settings. Their buildings, their cities, their towns. Let's be honest. Cleveland, Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the NBA, that's a big league city. From a young player's standpoint, I don't want to say how do you keep them hungry because they're not in the NHL and that's where they want to be. I understand that, but there could be a lot of distractions. How important is it for them to tune out all those distractions?
Yeah, I mean, there's things to do. You can go to the Cavs game or Browns game, all that stuff. But we have a great setup there. Quicken Loans Arena it's an NHL arena. It's we got a great practice facility where they spend most of their time. We have a quality weight room and all that stuff. So they'll be getting prepared for the NHL. You go in the Quicken Loans, we're averaging over 9,000 a game. So
you guys have done a great job there since the old Cleveland Barons that were there when San Jose was affiliated. Jody and I talk about this all the time. You could literally count the number of fans that were in the seats. Ever since
did one night.
Ever since Dan Gilbert bought that team and brought the Lake Erie Monsters there, it's been phenomenal. Because at the time I was thinking, you're going to put another team in Cleveland after that.
Right.
That didn't work.
What we knew.
Yeah, and we knew absolutely nothing because now it's back to the days that you were kind of used to, right, with the Cleveland Lumberjacks.
Yeah, I mean, the people that with the Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert's group there's 5 people in the Cavalier office in upper positions that were with the Lumberjacks when I played when we were averaging 8,000-9,000, and they knew hockey could work there if you did it right. And they came in and they believed in it and they followed their instinct, and it's back to this year we've gone up every year. The 8 years that we've been there, our attendance has gone up every year, and hopefully we can keep growing that.
Yeah, and as you said, the attendance is going up. You made the playoffs one time, so
that's a good thing.
If you could get a good group there, you could do some good things. And we all saw how special playoffs in Cleveland can be here just in the last couple of months.
Yeah, it was an exciting time in Cleveland. The city was going crazy.
You hang with LeBron much?
No.
No?
No.
You don't get him to put some skates on and come out and take a twirl?
No, that'd be a little dangerous, I think.
I'm going to send him some tickets.
Yeah.
What's your role with the team when it gets up there?
So I do a lot of the hockey operation stuff. I do a lot of travel. I do all the travel, the hotels, the buses, the airplanes, the meal money, meals on the road, those type things. Involved with the league, and I was the liaison between Colorado and Lake Erie. I do a little bit of the travel for the indoor football team and
do you?
The Canton D League basketball team.
Oh, good. Well, we know how important that job is.
Yeah.
Because all we know is what time to be there, where do I have to be, and when the bus stops, we'll get off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where are we staying? We're staying here. Oh, why are we staying there?
Yeah, that's the NHL.
2 years ago, that was terrible. Why are we going back there again, right? You ever get that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Holiday Inn Express, baby.
Yeah, right. Back to that La Quinta in San Antonio? You got to be kidding me.
I know
we got 2 stops.
Yeah.
Jock?
No direct flight, no charter.
Right.
No charter,
Hey,
bus.
speaking-
You in charge of the food after on the bus?
Just depends. I know with Colorado when we played back-to-back games, we got a meal. If they didn't have a game the next night, then they had a restaurant menu and the kids ordered off.
Oh, that's
off the
right. I
restaurant.
forgot about that. It was
Right.
a coast we used to stop at Sheets.
Yeah.
At the gas station. Pre and post game meal.
That was my favorite story about that was my first year in Johnstown. Nick Fatiu was the head coach, and we were playing in Wheeling, which is literally 2-hour drive. And so
Short trip.
I thought, well, we'll be home by midnight. We stopped at a truck stop somewhere on I-70 because Nick wanted to stop and have the truck stop buffet. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes.
What a guy.
We're talking 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We're eating meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and I'm going, why are we not home right now? This is unbelievable. That was what the post-game meals were like in the East Coast Hockey League when I was there. And you're right. In the American League, it was, hey, did everybody order off this
that's
menu?
right. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. The
Right.
guy would always get on the bus and forget, and if there was another nice guy, I'd give him a piece of his pizza. Right, Chuck?
Exactly.
That's what happens.
We used to eat pre-games at Denny's when I played.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause we did the Chinese buffet and Denny's.
Yeah, because we didn't go the day before. We went day of, and it was from Muskegon, Michigan to Milwaukee's like 5-6 hours. You'd stop after 3 hours.
Right.
Oh yeah, get out and
Stop
stretch,
at
have a
Denny's.
coffee.
Yeah.
Have
yeah.
a Denny's pregame and go back onto the bus for the next 3, get off and play.
How about the lineup at the payphone?
Yeah.
There used to be a lineup at the payphone at we'd stop it and we'd get some chips and whatever we could get, and there'd be 4 guys lined up with calling cards at the payphone, waiting to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Explain that to these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
You know what? If
Look
they
back
knew-
at the bus now, they're all like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to be quiet on that bus now.
yeah.
If they knew, they might appreciate those days, and nobody's ringing your phone off the hook,
Yeah,
bugging
that's
you
right.
the whole time. Yeah, and you used to have the movie guy, right? Somebody had to bring a movie.
Yeah.
Now everybody has their
Their
own
own-
movies.
their
They
own
download
under-
their own stuff. They bring
Yeah.
their own stuff. You mentioned about the travel. Is your schedule out yet?
No, we don't get our schedule until the NBA schedule, so it's late August.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you know what division you're going to play in? Do you know what the structure is going to be? Are you staying in the Western Conference?
Yeah, so we'll be with Grand Rapids, Chicago, Milwaukee, Rockford, and I believe Charlotte.
Now, will you have to travel out to California to play any of those new teams?
We won't be playing.
Oh, you're not going to go to California at all?
We'll play San Antonio and Austin.
Okay.
And all that. Next week is the league meetings in Hilton Head, so everything will kind of work out how many games you're playing against each team and all that stuff.
And you'll still play some teams in the East then, right?
It's a
some closer
possibility.
teams.
We didn't the last few, but I know Toronto has moved over to the East, and Rochester, and we've always played those teams, so it'll be interesting to see.
It's an interesting dynamic in the American Hockey League because the schedule is so regionalized. Like when the Blue Jackets were in Springfield, they were – I don't know how many trips they had. They had an overnight stay, maybe 4 throughout the course of the year. Maybe
Yeah, I
they
think
went,
they had 7 nights away from their
something like that.
home.
They had all that practice time at home, which I know that some teams covet. How much practice time do you guys normally wind up having? Do you get a good chunk of that? Like
yeah,
Chicago, Milwaukee's not that far away. So
No, we still get a good. We sometimes practice on the road, so I know we'll get those seven nights that they got in Springfield last year on one trip down to Texas.
Yeah, right.
So last year we went once to Texas. We played Austin twice, San Antonio twice. We had a few days in between. We had some practices there in Austin at their game rink. So you still get your practices. It's you won't get as many as they got in Springfield for sure with the travel. But and then sometimes we may travel into Chicago the day before a game, but practice in the afternoon in Chicago, or else practice at home before we leave. It just depends. Sometimes you fly, sometimes you bus. After the schedule comes out, I'll sit down with Jared and the coaching staff, and we'll go over how we want to do each trip.
yeah, you still use sleeper buses?
We have, yes, once in a while.
Those are the best, aren't they, Jody?
Spoiled.
The ones we use, we haven't used one for a couple years because the schedule didn't need it, but we had the ones where they fold down so you could sit during the day and play cards and watch TV or whatever, read your book, and then at night everything would fold. So
those were
pretty good setup.
Those were the trips right there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we had one time where we had a TV up front. In the middle was where the bathroom, and there was like a little kitchenette, and then the back was all bunks, and they had a really big screen TV. So all the veteran players were all piled in the back. They made the rookies come up front in our compartment. But the remote control worked on our TV and the TV in the back
At the same time?
Yeah. So I was
painful.
So I was on the top bunk, leaning into the aisle, at the behest of my assistant coach, who was really proud of me to do this. And every time they would put a channel on in the back,
You would
and then
mess
sit
with them.
down, I would change the channel, and it drove them crazy for about 10 minutes
Till they figured it out.
until they figured it
And
out.
then you got beat up and put in the stick bag.
Actually, fortunately, they just shut the door in the middle. But our head coach said, the minute they change our channel, I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
So it's simple. Great times in the minor leagues.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
fun.
you, you still enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I would. I played 18 years, mostly in the minors, and I would do it again. Going on the bus and hanging out with the guys and playing cards, telling stories.
How much is there to be said for that? Because there are some guys now that, it used to be you had to be a really elite player to jump right to the National Hockey League. Now there seem to be more guys that have little or no minor league experience. Because you did that so long and you have an appreciation for it, what do you see as the value of spending time in the American Hockey League and before you get here to the NHL on a regular basis?
I think you learn to want to work for something. Like if you're always handed everything right away, sometimes you maybe don't get that drive or whatever. But if you spend some time in the minors and you get called up, and then you think, well, I don't want to go back there. You may push you to work harder, and you get to know the guys that are coming up and stuff, and get to be friends. Like if you spend a year or two down there, you'll meet some guys, and then you get called up, and then maybe a year later they come up, and you already know them, and it builds some camaraderie.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a great experience.
And I'm sure you're a guy that has a lot of appreciation for that, because you got a chance to come up to the NHL at a time in Pittsburgh when they were making their Stanley Cup runs in the early '90s too. So you got to kind of see it all, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great. I was fortunate enough to win the Cup in '92. So a lot of guys that played in Muskegon, were on that team. So they learned. We won down in Muskegon a lot, so I think they learned how to win down there, and it was a great experience. Like I said, I'd do it all over again.
Well, Jock, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you, and I'm sure we'll see you down here during regular training camp in September, right?
For sure. Yeah.
All right, great. Jock Callander joining us. He's with the
Jock.
Lake Erie Monsters.
Good to see you.
The new American Hockey League affiliate of the Blue Jackets.